Hello, friends. This is a podcast to wrap up Chapter 3 in your Party Time Stats book. What you have here are the terms and ideas that you should be familiar with at this point. Statistics come from samples. We take statistics, we take samples from populations because the populations are too big to count, and we use these samples to estimate parameters about a population. All right, so in any problem that you're given, you should be able to identify a population of interest. You should be able to recognize what the sample proportion is then that's a statistic, and that we are trying to use that statistic to estimate something about the population parameter. All right, we got random variable x, that's our count. So if we ask 100 people a question, what's your favorite color, and 37 of them say blue, then the random variable is the 37 people that said yes. The 100 is the sample size n. The sample proportion is x divided by n. So 37 over 100 would be 0.37 or 37%. And then the margin of error, this is our quick method for 95% confidence, is 1 over the square root of the sample size. So in our example, if we let x be 37, n be 100, our p hat is going to be 37 over 100, which equals 0.37, which is 37%. And if we had to make a margin of, that's our p hat, and if we had to make a margin of error, that would be 1 over the square root of n, which is 1 over the square root of 100, which you should all know is 10, and 1 over 10 is going to be uh, zero point 0.1 or 10%. So my confidence interval would be 37 plus or minus 10, and we write that interval in numbers like this. So between 27% and 47%. And the reason that's such a big interval is that it's such a small sample size. So the sentence I could write and that I need to know absolutely, unequivocally, is I am 95% confident that the true population proportion is between, in this case, 27 and 47. And instead of saying population parameter, I could say the true percentage of people whose favorite color is blue in the population is between 27 and 47. So you should be able to do all that. You got to know those terms. The quizzes were sort of medium. Some people are getting the terms and some people aren't. It's not a lot of effort to remember definitions. You guys have been doing this since middle school, so we should be a little bit better on that. All right. And for homework, to get ready, I want you to look at page 53, problem 3.26. What this says is a Harris poll conducted in October 2006 reports that 42% of a sample of 2010 adults said they are not absolutely certain there is a God. Only 29% said they believe that God controls what happens on earth. So use the quick method. So for this problem, I want you to identify what is X. Now, they don't tell you the number X. What they tell you is 42% of the sample size. All right, so you should know from the problem what the sample size is. And if you multiply, you can find out what that X is, both for the 42% and for the 29%. Okay, so you got two different X's. One is for the percentage of people that aren't sure about God, which is, I'll just put a 42% right here, and the other for the 29%. Okay, so you should be able to find both of those. You should be able to identify the sample size. I want you to identify the population of interest. Who are they trying to learn about? All right, now that's not in the problem. That's what I'm asking you to find out. Okay, and then I also want you to do part A, which is use the quick method to find the margin of error. All right, and I just reminded you of that in the first part of this podcast. And I want you to do part B, which is to make a confidence statement, okay? And that's the sentence that I just showed you on the previous page. So that's it. I want you to do this problem, and I want you to make sure you know that vocabulary. If you don't, make yourself a list, cover it up, and say it over and over till you have it. All right, you got to know the term, the letter, and the definition. All right, we'll see you tomorrow in class.